I'll take one.
That's good enough.
Okay.
Hand movements will do. No. My name is Kwabena Adomako, and this is my wife, Kayla. We've been together 13 years.
Lucky 13.
Oh, yeah. And, we have 2 beautiful children, Jaden, 12, and Addie's 9. She'll be 10 this September.
I volunteered my family for dealing with a lot of things that they didn't necessarily ask to deal with. And not everybody is as open-minded, or not even that. I won't even say that. Some people don't even know what their biases are.
Yeah.
And they don't know until they're challenged, and not everybody reacts the same way. I have 5 parents that raised me and have an influence in my life, and not all of them had the same feelings, right? So they didn't all agree on how they felt with this issue.
I'd say a major defining moment was when you got pregnant.
Right. Again, volunteering my family to handle a lot, you know, and I kind of, the fear that they had, and anytime you have a child, you know, you have expectations for your child, whether they're realistic or not, right? You see their life for them and what you want for them. And, you know, I came to them and said, hey, remember that guy? So here we are, really young, unmarried, pregnant, and a mixed couple. And that was a big bite to swallow. And there was a lot of fear, I think, as a parent, like, what the heck did you just do? So your experience and my experience were a little bit different in that, because, you know, you didn't have the deep, huge conversation. I mean, I'm sure you had a few, but it was mostly like the tones.
Everything else.
You know, and where I got the more private discussion. Conversations. You know, I also overheard a family member telling one of my sisters, you know, you better never grow up like her. Don't ever be like your sister. And yeah, like, that was not nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, my family is big, and this came from different circles in each of my families, but I come from a split family, so, you know, it's not all just like in one section. But when you're pregnant, and regardless, I mean, I know that we were young and not married and those kind of things, but it's scary. And you want it, I mean, it's a blessing. Like, I was really excited, right? And just to have all that negativity. It
was just more to add on top of, you know, the load of changes that we had coming, you know. And
it definitely took a toll, that's for sure. But I think we moved past that. We had, there was pretty much a line in the sand, you know, where I have to say, get on board with this or don't. It's your choice. This is obviously what I'm doing with my life. I want you to come with me. I want you to be a part of this. I want your influence in my life and my kids. And, you know, if you can do that, then come on. If you can't, you know, please step aside.
I think there's kind of 2 different perspectives. One perspective is for a black person to date a white person. It's kind of seen as how would you say, a come up, a better position for the black person to be in, and then for the white person, it's kind of looked at as a dip. You know, and I have seen that portrayed, and I've seen
stereotypes,
stereotyped that way.
Even digging into that, the stereotypes. Are they're not always true. Most of the time, they're not true.
Right.
But the thing is that people have not been in positions to learn that they're not.
Right.
And so it becomes almost your responsibility.
And it's not, but yes.
To a degree, it
you want to portray that for the next, you know, we liked a couple watching. We always look, and, you know, when we see a couple that kind of represents ourselves, we're like, oh, look at them. And, you know, they probably didn't have to go through the same things we did. I hope not. And I hope that, you know,
and from a different perspective, as a black man, I do that all the time too. When I go to a place and there's like all white people and I see another black guy, it's like, all right, she now has a sense of that feeling. When we're together, we do that as a couple out now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's interesting. You definitely get a more well-rounded perspective when it comes to that as well. And representing interracial couples is, I think for us, it's a little easier in a way, because I think myself, I don't. Well, I mean that also, but I don't come off. At least I don't think I come off as a stereotypical urban thuggish kind of black guy. So
you're very open. People come to you.
Yeah, I get approached a lot about
so much.
A lot of different things. A lot of different.
Just like strangers.
No, strangers all the time.
All the time.
You do have a very kind face.
That's a big one for me, because as much as I learn in our relationship and being an ally, and advocating for you on that sense, like I can't walk in your shoes, right? I still like if I were to go to the store by myself, I don't have the same experience as when I go to the store with you or with the kids. Yep. But when you put kids in the mix, that is a whole other story, because these children are now not just, somebody that I love with my whole heart. They're half of me. Like I made those little black kids. Yeah. Like I made them. They're half me. Mm-hmm. And I dry their tears when somebody is mean to them, and I block people from just grabbing my daughter's hair, and the things that I've had to learn as a parent.
The conversations we've had to have.
And the conversations we've had to have with the kids, I feel like is a really unique perspective for anybody that has mixed kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just me, myself, but just somebody in that position. Mm-hmm. And you get a lot of flack, you'll, as a white person, you'll never understand. Mm-hmm. And true, I am white, and I never had to have the conversations that we had with our children. Mm-hmm. My parents didn't even have to, like, that wasn't even
a necessity.
A necessity. So no, but as a parent, protecting my children, safeguarding my children, teaching my children, building up my children, and there was so much to learn with,
for me, with my upbringing being black, I mean, I was told about a lot of racial injustices at a very young age. Right. And for Kayla growing up, you just didn't have to deal with that. And
Martin Luther King.
Right.
Great support.
Quick mention of Malcolm X,
Right.
Go march, But the reality for, I would say, Black America is knowing the cautions and dangers and
teaching your kids the safety protocols.
So when you go out, when you go outside, there are certain precautions you have to take, and I learned that at a very young age as a black boy growing up, and teaching our kids that was something new. Yeah, we had
I argued. I was like,
she thought it was too young. It's too young. What are you
why would you put that on our kids so young? Like they're going to learn about that later, and I don't want to instill in them fear or feeling like they're a victim and all of those things
and at a young age, from your perspective,
at a young age, right? Mm-hmm. But then when our son came home in kindergarten bawling because his best friend that he had just met, said, I can't play with you anymore because my dad says I can't play with black kids, What do you say to a 5-year-old? Like, you can't just say, "Oh, people are mean, honey. You're fine."
See, and that's where it kind of jumps to the point where it's like, well, maybe we need to give them a little bit of a reality dish, and let them know
in a kid format.
Right?
But those conversations are had, and
having an understanding of what you could potentially be walking into when you go outside. Yeah.
Right.
It does help.
Like that was a big learning thing for me.
Right.
Or like,
you have an idea of
when our son is a very active boy, when he was very little, liked the toy guns and things, and like anytime we passed one, can I have that one? Can I have that one? And anything that looked anywhere real, or, you know, like black, even with the orange cap, like absolutely not, no way, Jose. You know, well, my friend has that, and I'm sorry. You know, my brother and I played, you know, cowboys and Indians and cops and robbers all the time. We had the little cap guns, you know, that had the real smoke and everything. Like, my son has never had one of those. Because he's really big for his age. Like, he looks now like an adult. He's bigger than me.
He looks like a teenager.
You know, and that's a fear I have. And it's not an unrealistic fear, but, you know, he likes the hoodies and the hats and things that cover his face. And those are real sit down on the couch conversations that we have to have with him. Because about, we want you to be safe. We want you to be okay.
It's happening to people his age, you know. I mean, kids are out here getting killed, you know, for playing in the, you know, playing at the park, local park in your backyard, and you have to be aware of, you know,
of your surroundings with that, and you have to be respectful, and you have
to know how you look out here. You know, once you're out in public, you have to be aware of that. And
He's unfortunately,
unfortunately, you know, you may be seen as a threat, you know, and I mean, there's not, you know.
For Addie, you know, learning, I mean, every girl has self-esteem issues sometime at some point in their life, right? You know, but learning that more so, like, she has different issues than I had. I can't walk her through every single one of those without really learning and doing some research on that, because I'm mom. I'm word, you know, and so like building up that self-esteem with her awesome hair, you know, and like I said earlier, blocking people from, you know, teaching her it's okay to have boundaries. Like, people don't have to come up and grab your hair if you don't want them to. You know, you can tell them no, thank you. And teaching those things, I did not have to learn that as a little kid.
And maybe even didn't know was something that might bother someone.
Right. Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. As a white person in my whiteness,
it's
you know, in high school, it is like my friends that had the extensions and the braids and the different colors. I'm like, cool. You know, it's like in your like bug going to light, you know, like, that's so cool. Can I see that? And not really understanding that is like, whoa, personal space, please. Right. You have to be invited in. But as a parent, I have absolutely witnessed more, felt more for my children because they're my heart, you know, and had to educate myself even more so than just as a partner, if that makes sense. It at 100% changed my view of things and continues to challenge the way I think about things as they get older and we deal with new situations, and the more I learn. For sure.
The mixing of cultures has ultimately left our families more cultured, and it opens up your eyes to a much wider perspective on a wide array of things.
I mean, every family is a coming together of two people, right? And integrating their worlds, but along with taking us as individuals, there's our racial differences and other cultural differences. Like, you come from, you know, Black American culture and also, you know, African culture. And it's kind of hard to describe white culture sometimes, right? As like really specific, but like for me, because it's different things, right? But there's a lot of, you know, like country, like farmers and, you know, like small town stuff in mine, and a really strong Christian background, you know, and those are things that are like kind of make me who I am, and those things are kind of make you what you are, and mixing those together and making our household what it is. It's cool to watch our kids.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, starting that foundation creates a very open background for our children growing up. They experience both of that. You know, I'm all the way on one side, you know, Kayla's all the way on the other, but our kids get a piece of it all, and that's more that they can spread as they grow up, you know,
and share with their family. But it's cool to see what they grasp. You know what I mean? It's cool to see the things that they pick and choose. You know, Jaden really likes working on the farm with my papa. You know, that's something he likes, getting down and doing some hard work, but he's also super into the African culture and very into, you know, rap music and
African
stuff like that.
Parties, he's usually spinning all over the floor.
Doing African dances.
Yeah,
like, it's cool to see that make him who he is, though.
And he can be both.
And he can be, absolutely. And he can, right, and he doesn't, you don't have to fit in a box.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of thing I think our relationship challenges that for some people is, you know, compartmentalized boxes.
Is he or she over here, or is he and she over here? It's like, they're everywhere.
They can be whoever,
you know,
and we can be,
yeah.
we can live our lives how we choose. But I don't know. I think that's probably the coolest part of being interracial is watching it come out in our kids and the next generation and seeing what they take from that and make their own.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Lovely being here.
Yeah, you guys are it was very good.
Good.
Seriously. We laughed.
I can't tell.
We cried.